The Great Council Hall floated in orbit above a shining star. It was not just a building, it was a monument of power. Thousands of alien races had their representatives inside its walls. Some were tall and elegant, with silver skin that reflected light. Others were covered in scales, shells, or soft fur. Some slithered on the floor, others hovered with wings or mechanical devices. All of them had one duty: decide the laws of the galaxy. On that day, the chamber was restless. The news had already spread through the corridors. The topic was not trade, war, or politics. The topic was Earth. The Grand Speaker, a creature with 6 glowing eyes and a voice like rolling thunder, struck the floor with his staff. The noise echoed, silencing the murmurs. "Counselors," he said, "we face a question that should not exist. Reports speak of a world that breaks every law of survival. The name of this world is Earth." Whispers rushed across the seats. Some delegates leaned forward with interest. Others scoffed. Many shook their heads in disbelief. A counselor with crystal-like skin stood first. Her voice rang sharp and cold. "This planet is chaos. The land itself moves. Continents split, mountains rise, and seas flood the land. The storms there can tear cities from the ground. Lightning, hurricanes, and fire from volcanoes. It is a world built to destroy life. And yet the reports claim it is full of life." "Impossible!" The chamber buzzed. Delegates muttered, tails flicking, wings twitching. Impossible. The word had weight. The galaxy was vast, but rules were always the same. Too much danger, no life. Too much chaos, no balance. Yet this planet seemed to mock those rules. Another delegate, tall and insect-like, slammed his thin hands on the desk. "This is a lie. It must be a trick. No biosphere can survive such punishment. No species could rise to intelligence there." But the Grand Speaker's eyes flashed. "The reports are clear. Earth does not only survive, it thrives. Creatures fill its forests, its oceans, its skies. The diversity is unmatched. Where one predator kills, another rises. Where disease strikes, new life adapts. The planet itself is alive with fury." Gasps and growls filled the hall. Some laughed. Others looked afraid. Finally, an elder delegate stood. He had lived long enough to watch empires rise and fall. His voice was calm, but every syllable carried weight. "I know this world. I have read the old archives. Earth is not balance. Earth is not order. Earth is what we call a death world. This gravity is crushing. Its plagues are endless. Its predators are nightmares. And yet, rumor says humans live there." The word humans fell like a stone in water. The chamber stilled. For a moment no one spoke. Then laughter broke out. High, mocking laughter from every corner. A delegate with feathered wings clapped his claws together. "Humans? From that world? Impossible. If it is true, they will not last long. They are fragile. They will die like insects under their own storms." Another joined in, sneering. "A race of flesh creatures claiming to survive volcanoes and monsters? Lies. Or madness." But a few counselors did not laugh. Their eyes were heavy with thought, their hearts colder than before. Because if the rumors were true, then humanity was not fragile. Humanity was proof of something terrifying. A species that had grown strong, not despite its world, but because of it. Still, the council needed a decision. The Grand Speaker raised his staff again. His booming voice silenced the room. "Enough. The council will declare this matter. Earth's biosphere is impossible. It does not follow the laws of nature. The planet is a threat to reason, to order. And humans, if they exist, are not to be trusted." The declaration was written in the records, carved into the archives of the galaxy. Earth, impossible. Humanity, not recognized, not respected. Across the hall, many laughed at the conclusion. To them, Earth was just a curiosity, a joke. A dangerous rock where no intelligent life could truly survive. They left the chamber with smiles and jokes about humans and their wild imaginations. But not all shared that joy. In the darker rows of the chamber, One silent delegate whispered to himself, "If humans truly live there, if they were born on that world of storms and fire, then they are stronger than anything we know. Stronger than us. Stronger than all." His words were soft, almost lost under the sound of voices leaving the hall. But they carried a weight far greater than laughter. The declaration had been made. The decision was final. Earth was labeled as impossible, humans dismissed as lies. And yet, out there in the cold dark, humans were listening, watching, waiting. The council thought their words were the end. In truth, they were the beginning. Far away from the shining halls of the Galactic Council, Earth listened. Humanity heard the whispers, the laughter, and finally the declaration. The galaxy had called their world impossible. The galaxy had dismissed them as fragile lies. But humanity was not a race that stayed silent. In a quiet chamber deep under the mountains, leaders of Earth gathered. They were not kings or emperors, not warriors in armor, but scientists, explorers, and dreamers. On their screens, the words of the council played again. Earth is impossible. Humanity is not to be trusted. Silence followed. Then a single voice broke through. It was calm, steady, but sharp like steel. "They think we are weak," said Dr. Elena Voss, her eyes glowing in the light of the monitor. "They think our home is chaos, a joke. But we know the truth. Earth is not chaos, it is training. Every storm, every predator, every disease, it made us stronger. We will not argue with them. We will show them." Around her, the others nodded. Humanity had faced war, famine, and disasters for centuries. They had fallen many times, but each time they rose higher. And now the galaxy mocked them. The answer would not be words. The answer would be proof. Preparations began. Across the planet, scientists collected samples of Earth's essence. Vials of deep ocean water, carrying microscopic life more resilient than steel. Soil rich with bacteria that could adapt to radiation. Seeds that could grow even in poison ground. Air filled with billions of invisible organisms, each one armed for survival. Even predators were recorded. Footage of lions hunting, sharks tearing through the ocean, and insects carrying poisons strong enough to kill giants. It was not meant to scare. It was meant to speak one truth. This is what made us. The work was not easy. For weeks, laboratories buzzed with activity. Engineers designed containers that no alien could accuse of tampering. Every sample was locked in crystal shells, impossible to fake. The data was sealed with codes recognized across the galaxy. There would be no denial. When everything was ready, the question rose, who would deliver it? A voice from the back answered, "We will not send soldiers," said Admiral Chun, an old man with scars across his face. "Soldiers would make them think we want war. We will not send politicians. They would think we want power. We will send explorers, people who carry knowledge, not weapons." And so, the Starship Odyssey was chosen. Its crew was small but brave. Scientists, biologists, and historians, people who carried Earth in their blood and minds. They would not shout, they would not beg. They would simply place the truth before the galaxy. Before departure, the crew stood on the launch platform, looking up at the night sky. Billions of stars shone above, cold and distant. Somewhere out there, the council sat in their grand chamber, laughing at humanity. Captain Mira Solis, leader of the mission, raised her voice. "The galaxy thinks our home is impossible. But impossible is what shaped us. Every child of Earth grows under a sky that can strike with storms. Every breath carries the memory of plagues and predators. We are not fragile. We are forged. And now we will let them see." The engines roared, fire tearing through the dark. The Odyssey rose into the heavens, carrying Earth's reply. Back on Earth, billions watched. Some were afraid. What if the Council rejected them? What if the galaxy saw their strength and chose to destroy them? But others felt pride. At last, humanity was not hiding. At last, the stars would learn who they truly were. As the Odyssey traveled through the void, its crew shared silent thoughts. They imagined the moment when the Council would open the samples. They imagined the shock, the silence, the fear. They knew the galaxy had never seen a world like theirs. But deep inside, they also knew something else. This was not just about proving survival. This was about claiming respect. Humanity did not want to conquer. Humanity wanted to be recognized, not as weak, not as impossible, but as equals. And yet, every person aboard the Odyssey understood a darker truth. If the Council refused to accept the proof, then Earth's future would change forever. The galaxy would not be a stage of peace, it would become a battlefield. Because if humanity could endure Earth, then no enemy in the stars could break them. The crew slept little. Their dreams were filled with storms, predators, and the sound of alien laughter. But each time they awoke, they looked at the samples. They reminded themselves, this is who we are. This is why we fight. Weeks later, the Odyssey finally approached the shining world where the Council's chamber floated. Its hull gleamed, carrying the symbol of Earth, a blue and green sphere, fragile in appearance but hiding power no one could deny. As the ship prepared to dock, Captain Mira whispered, almost to herself, "They wanted to call us impossible. Now they will see the truth." The Council had declared Earth a myth. Humanity's reply was on its way. And once delivered, the galaxy would never laugh again. The Odyssey drifted silently into the orbit of the Council's great station. From the outside, the station looked like a star wrapped in steel. Rings of silver light circling endlessly, millions of windows glowing against the dark. Inside its walls, thousands of species waited. The Council had called Earth impossible, and now humanity had come to answer. When the docking clamps locked, a deep echo rolled through the ship. The crew felt the weight of history pressing on them. Captain Mira Solis stood at the front, her hand resting on a small, clear case. Inside the case lay Earth's first reply to the galaxy, its samples. The doors opened with a hiss. The humans stepped forward into the long corridor of the Council station. Alien guards lined the path, their weapons silent but ready. Their eyes studied the humans with curiosity, suspicion, and hidden fear. Few had ever seen a human before. Fewer still believed they were real. At last, the crew entered the Council chamber. The same vast hall where Earth had been mocked now fell silent. Thousands of eyes turned toward them, round, slitted, glowing, and mechanical. The Grand Speaker leaned forward, his 6 eyes burning like embers. "You bring evidence?" His voice rumbled across the hall. Captain Mira bowed her head. "We bring the truth." The first sample was presented, a vial of Earth's air. It looked harmless, nothing more than a clear tube of invisible gas. But when the Council's instruments scanned it, alarms whispered. Billions of microorganisms lived in every drop of air, each ready to adapt, to fight, to survive. Many alien delegates flinched. For them, air was clean, pure. To breathe Earth's sky would mean war with life itself. Next came a vial of seawater, blue and shimmering. It was tested, and the results spread like wildfire across the chamber. The water carried predators so small they could never be seen, yet strong enough to tear down entire colonies of weaker species. Even the most advanced worlds did not carry such invisible danger in every wave. Then came soil, dark and rich. To the Council's machines, it was alive, teeming with bacteria, fungi, and seeds, creatures that could resist poisons, grow under radiation, and spread even through fire. Some delegates whispered in shock. On their own worlds, soil was dead rock. On Earth, even the ground fought to live. One by one, the samples were displayed. Seeds that could sleep for centuries, waiting for the right time to bloom. Insects frozen in crystal, carrying venoms that could kill in minutes. A recording of storms tearing across oceans, lightning carving scars across the land. Every sample carried the same message. Earth was not fragile. Earth was relentless. The chamber grew restless. Some laughed nervously, others muttered in disbelief. A delegate with wings stood sharply. "Tricks! These are tricks. No world could survive such madness." But the Grand Speaker silenced him. "The instruments do not lie. This is real." His voice trembled, though he tried to hide it. Finally, Captain Mira gave the last sample. It was not soil, air, or water. It was a recording. A simple hollow image that filled the chamber with life. The aliens saw lions racing across the plains, their muscles rippling with power. They saw wolves hunting together, clever and relentless. They saw sharks slicing through the ocean, eyes cold and endless. They saw crocodiles dragging prey into the deep. They saw eagles diving from the skies, talons sharp as blades. And then they saw something else, humans. Small compared to beasts, fragile compared to monsters. But humans carried fire in their hands, tools in their grip, and unity in their eyes. They stood not as prey, but as hunters. The chamber fell silent. Whispers spread like wind. Some counselors looked pale, others furious. The elder delegate who once named Earth a death world now leaned forward, his voice low. They do not survive despite this world. They survive because of it. The words cut through the silence like a blade. For the first time, the council saw the truth. Earth was not a mistake. It was not impossible. It was training ground, a forge where survival was the only law. And the species that had risen from it, humanity, was proof of that law. Still, many resisted. "They are dangerous," cried one delegate, his voice shaking. "If they can live on such a world, what will they do to the galaxy?" Others nodded in fear. To them, humanity was not a curiosity anymore. It was a threat. But Captain Mira did not flinch. She raised her voice, steady and strong. "You asked for proof. We have given it. Earth is not impossible, it is unstoppable. And we are its children." The samples lay before the council, undeniable and unbreakable. No trick, no lie, only truth. And as the humans stood in silence, waiting for judgment, one thought spread through the chamber like fire. If this is what Earth creates, what will humanity become among the stars? The council chamber was not silent anymore. It was heavy. The air itself seemed to tighten as the samples from Earth sat in the middle of the hall, glowing under the crystal lights. No one moved. No one dared to breathe too loud. For the first time in centuries, the Galactic Council did not feel like the masters of reason. They felt like prey. The machines confirmed the results again and again. Earth's air was alive. Its oceans were alive. The soil was alive. Every corner of that world carried resistance, danger, and endless growth. Life there was not gentle, it was violent, clever, and stubborn. And yet, somehow, it thrived. A delegate with feathers across his arms stood suddenly, his voice sharp with panic. "This cannot be real. If such a planet exists, then it is poison. It is a world that should have killed itself long ago." But the elder with silver tendrils shook his head slowly. "No, it has not killed itself. It has made something worse. It has made survivors." The word echoed. Survivors. Another delegate, tall and insect-like, pointed toward the humans. His many eyes glowed with suspicion. "If this is their home, then what does that make them? No species should endure storms that swallow continents. No mind should rise where predators wait in every shadow. And yet they stand here, breathing, watching." The humans did not answer. They only waited. Their silence was louder than any words. At the center of the chamber, the hollow recording still played. Lions roared. Sharks sliced through waves. Wolves hunted with deadly teamwork. The sound filled the walls, mixing with the delegates' fear. Some had already turned away, unable to watch. Others leaned forward, unable to look away. Then the final scene appeared. Humans lighting fire in the dark, building shelters against storms, facing predators with nothing but tools in their hands. Small compared to the beasts, yes, but unbroken. Always unbroken. The Grand Speaker lowered his 6 eyes, his voice suddenly quiet. "They live on the edge of destruction every moment. Their world does not forgive mistakes. And so, they learned never to make them." The hall rippled with unease. One counselor slammed the desk with a claw. "This is not life. This is madness. If they survived such a world, then they are not like us. They are something else." A cold silence followed, then another delegate whispered, almost trembling, "If they can survive Earth, what can they survive out here?" That was the question. And the answer was more terrifying than any predator on Earth. If humanity was shaped by storms, plagues, and monsters, then no threat in the galaxy could truly break them. Panic began to spread. Some delegates shouted for the samples to be destroyed. Others demanded humanity be banned from traveling beyond their home. Fear twisted the chamber into chaos. But among the noise, a small group of counselors remained quiet. They understood something deeper. This was not just about fear. This was about power. Because if humans were as strong as their world, then they were not only dangerous, they were valuable. Allies or enemies, humanity would change the balance of the galaxy. The Grand Speaker raised his staff again. The booming echo silenced the hall. His 6 eyes scanned the humans, as if trying to read their souls. "You have given us proof," he said slowly. "But proof is not always comfort. You have shown us a world that should not exist. And you have shown us a people who should not exist. Yet here you stand." Captain Mira Solis stepped forward. Her voice was steady, though her heart pounded. "We do not ask for comfort. We do not ask for fear. We ask for truth. This is who we are. This is where we come from. Deny it if you wish, but the stars will learn it soon enough." Her words hit the chamber like thunder. For a moment, no one dared to speak. The delegates looked at one another, their minds racing between disbelief and terror. Finally, the elder with silver tendrils leaned back, whispering a thought that spread like a shadow. "If this is what humanity is on their world, then what will they become beyond it?" The chamber trembled with that single question. The shock was complete. Earth was no longer impossible. Earth was undeniable. And humanity, born from that crucible, was not a joke, not a myth. They were real. And as the humans stood quietly, watching the galaxy confront its fear, one truth became clear. The Council had not been judging humanity. Humanity had been judging the Council. The shock was not just in the samples. The shock was in the realization that the galaxy had already underestimated them. And that mistake would not be forgiven. The chamber had seen storms of anger before, but never fear like this. Delegates shifted in their seats, wings twitching, claws tapping nervously. The samples of Earth still glowed in the center, but now the humans brought forward something different. Not air, not water, not soil. This time they brought life's sharpest lesson. A crystal sphere was placed on the platform. With a flick of a hand, it opened, projecting a new recording. At first, the chamber filled with the quiet sounds of a forest. The rustle of leaves, the call of birds, the hum of insects. Some delegates leaned closer, curious. Then came the roar. It shook the walls of the hall. A lion appeared, its mane blazing like fire, its jaws tearing into prey with raw strength. Some delegates flinched back. Others hissed in shock. The scene changed. Wolves hunted in the snow, working together with perfect coordination. A pack moved as one, clever eyes fixed on their target. The prey ran, but there was no escape. The chamber grew restless. Many species knew predators, but few had seen such intelligence in the hunt. Next came the ocean. A shadow moved through the deep, sleek and unstoppable. A shark burst forward, teeth flashing, dragging its prey into the dark. Gasps rippled across the rows. Even underwater, Earth's predators ruled with ruthless efficiency. Then came the crocodile, silent, waiting beneath the water's surface. When the moment was right, it struck with terrifying speed, dragging its victim below. Delegates with aquatic heritage hissed in alarm, recognizing a hunter more patient than any they knew. But the recording was not finished. Insects appeared next, tiny, almost invisible, yet more terrifying than the great beasts. Ants swarmed over prey, stripping flesh to bone. A spider injected venom, liquefying its catch. A parasite invaded blood, unseen but deadly. For many counselors, these were worse than lions or sharks. Small, unrelenting, impossible to stop. Murmurs filled the chamber. Words like nightmare and monsters spread from row to row. And then came the final part. The recording showed humans. Not the fragile creatures the galaxy had mocked, but hunters shaped by the same world as the beasts. Men and women carrying spears, bows, and fire. Their eyes glowed with the same sharp focus as wolves, the same patience as crocodiles, the same cunning as spiders. One alien delegate whispered in horror. They learned from them. It was true. Humanity was not apart from Earth's predators. Humanity was born among them, tested by them, and then became one of them. They did not just survive the predators, they became predators themselves. The elder with silver tendrils leaned forward, his face pale. Do you see it? They are not prey. They are forged by predators into predators greater than all. The chamber erupted. Some shouted that humans were too dangerous. Others demanded they be cast out of galactic space. Fear turned to anger, anger turned to panic. But in the middle of the storm, the humans stood calm. Captain Myra's voice cut through the chaos. You asked what makes us strong. The truth is simple. We were never given safety. We grew where monsters walked. We learned to fight them, then we learned to hunt like them. Every roar, every claw, every venom. We faced it, and we endured. That is why we stand here now. Her words were sharp, each one striking deeper than the last. For a moment, the council sat frozen. They could not laugh anymore. They could not deny. They could only imagine. If humans could survive lions, wolves, sharks, and plagues on Earth, then what could they do when faced with alien threats? The Grand Speaker's voice trembled, though he tried to hide it. Predators create balance. But your predators, they create killers. If you are their children, then what does that make you? Captain Mira met his 6 burning eyes without fear. It makes us ready. Silence followed. A silence heavier than any roar. The truth of Earth's predators had been shown. And the truth of humanity was now impossible to ignore. They were not fragile myths. They were not impossible survivors. They were predators shaped by the most dangerous world in the stars. The council had wanted samples. What they received was a warning. And as the humans stood tall in the center of the hall, one unspoken thought spread across every mind. If humans are predators born of Earth, then the galaxy has just met its deadliest hunter. The chamber felt colder now. The recordings of Earth's predators still echoed in the delegates' minds. Roars, screams, and the silent patience of hunters waiting in the dark. The council had demanded truth, and humanity had given it. But truth was not comfort. Truth was fear. For centuries, the council believed survival was balance. Species lived in harmony with their worlds or they died. But Earth had destroyed that belief. Earth was chaos, and chaos had not killed humanity. It had sharpened them. A delegate with feathers ruffled his wings nervously. We must act now, he shouted. Ban them. Seal their world. If they spread beyond their system, it will mean disaster. Another slammed his claws against the desk. No. If we ban them, we make them enemies. And if they are what we have seen, then enemies are what we cannot afford. The chamber broke into chaos. Voices clashed, arguments roared louder than the lions in the recordings. Some called for war. Some begged for peace. Others demanded walls be built around the Sol system to cage humanity forever. But through the storm of voices, one truth repeated again and again. If they can survive Earth, what can't they survive? The Grand Speaker struck his staff against the floor. Boom! The sound silenced the chaos, though fear still clung to every face. His 6 glowing eyes fixed on the humans standing calmly at the center. You stand here, children of a world that should not exist, he said slowly. Your predators are unmatched. Your storms unforgiving. Your soil and seas filled with endless dangers. And yet you endure. Why? How do you survive where no one else could? Captain Mira Solis did not look away. Her voice was calm, but behind it burned fire. We do not endure because our world is kind. We endure because it is not. Every day we fought. Against cold. Against hunger. Against beasts and sickness. Those who fell made the next generation stronger. We survived because we learned, we adapted, we refused to die. That is humanity's law. Her words echoed like thunder. The delegates shifted uncomfortably. Some looked at the humans with awe, others with dread. For the first time, they began to understand. Humanity was not an accident. Humanity was a weapon built by nature itself. The elder with silver tendrils stood, his voice heavy. Do you not see it? If they carry the strength into the stars, then no enemy will stop them. Not famine, not war, not us. The words sent ripples of silence through the chamber. He was not mocking. He was warning. One of the insect-like delegates hissed in anger. Then we should destroy them now, before they grow too strong. But another, smaller delegate with glowing skin shook his head. Destroy them? Did you not see what they faced? Fire, storms, predators that would slaughter entire colonies. Yet they lived. You cannot destroy what nature itself failed to break. For the first time, fear turned into something else. Respect. The Grand Speaker leaned back, his 6 eyes dim with thought. He saw the split forming in the council. Those who feared humanity and those who admired them. It was the beginning of something larger. The humans remained silent, letting the council argue among themselves. They knew this moment mattered more than any battle. This was the turning point, not of words but of perception. The galaxy had laughed at them, mocked them, dismissed them. Now laughter was gone. Instead, the galaxy asked itself a new question. If humans could master Earth, what could they do to the stars? The answer was terrifying but also undeniable. Humanity was not impossible. Humanity was inevitable. Captain Myra's eyes scanned the chamber. She did not smile, but she saw the change. Fear was still there, yes, but hidden beneath it was recognition. The delegates no longer saw fragile myths. They saw predators in human skin. Survivors. Equals. The Grand Speaker raised his staff once more. This council must decide, he declared. Not if humanity exists. That is no longer in doubt. The question is whether they will stand as allies or rise as enemies. The chamber trembled with those words. Every delegate knew the truth. The galaxy had changed forever. The balance of power had shifted. Humanity, born of storms and predators, had entered the stars. And from this day forward, no world would ever look at them the same way again. The turning point had come. The galaxy's laughter was gone. Now there was only silence and fear. The council chamber had changed. Where once there was laughter, now there was silence. Where once there was doubt, now there was fear and something more. Respect. The samples of Earth still rested on the platform. Air alive with unseen organisms, soil full of resilience, water carrying hidden predators, and recordings of beasts that ruled land, sea, and sky. All of it undeniable. And at the center of it all stood the humans, silent, steady, unbroken. The Grand Speaker's voice was softer now, though it still echoed across the vast hall. We have seen your truth, he said. Your world is not impossible. It is unyielding. And you, its children, carry that same strength. Murmurs spread across the chamber. Some delegates lowered their heads, unwilling to meet the humans' eyes. Others whispered among themselves, debating whether this revelation was a gift or a curse. For centuries, the galaxy had believed that balance brought strength. But Earth had shown them something new. Strength came from struggle. An elder counselor leaned forward, his silver tendrils trembling. We cannot deny what we have seen. Humanity has endured the impossible. They are proof that nature's cruelty can shape survivors greater than any design. Another voice shouted from the rows above. Or monsters greater than any threat. The chamber stirred again, fear clashing with admiration. But this time, humanity did not wait. Captain Mira Solis stepped forward. Her voice was calm but sharp, carrying across every seat. We did not come here to beg. We did not come here to be praised. We came to show you the truth. You called our home impossible. But impossibility is what shaped us. Every storm that tried to drown us, every beast that tried to eat us, every sickness that tried to kill us. We faced them and we grew stronger. That is our legacy. Her words struck deep. The delegates could not deny them. They had seen the proof with their own eyes. Myra's gaze swept the chamber. You fear us. Some of you respect us. That is fine. But understand this, humanity does not rise to destroy. We rise to endure. And whatever the galaxy throws at us, war, famine, plague, or darkness, we will endure. We always endure. The silence after her words was heavy. For the first time, the galaxy understood humanity was not asking for a place among the stars. Humanity was taking it. Not with weapons. Not with war. With the undeniable truth of survival. The Grand Speaker lowered his staff, his eyes dim. Then it is decided. The Council will no longer call Earth impossible. It will be recognized as a death world, and humanity as its children. Gasps filled the chamber. A death world, the title was rare, feared, and respected. To name Earth so was to admit that it was beyond ordinary danger, a place where only the strongest could survive. And to name humanity its children was to accept that they were forged from that danger. Some delegates protested, others cheered, but none could change the truth. The record had been written. As the humans turned to leave, whispers followed them. Some voices carried fear. If they can survive Earth, what will they do to us? Others carried awe. Perhaps they are the allies we need. The humans did not respond. They did not need to. The samples had spoken louder than any words. When the Odyssey departed the Council station, billions watched across the galaxy. Many feared the rising species from the blue world. Many prepared defenses. But others sent secret messages, hoping to form alliances before it was too late. On board the Odyssey, Captain Mira looked out at the stars. Her crew stood beside her, silent, thoughtful. They all knew what had just happened. Humanity was no longer a myth, no longer a joke, no longer impossible. They were real. They were here, Mira whispered, almost to herself. They wanted to declare us impossible. Instead, they declared our legacy. And that legacy was clear. Humanity was the species that survived the impossible, the children of a world where every day was war, and every breath was earned. The galaxy had underestimated them. That mistake would never happen again. From now on, whenever the stars whispered the word human, it would not be with laughter. It would be with caution, with respect, with fear. The Council had spoken. The legacy was sealed. And far away, on the small blue world called Earth, billions of humans lifted their eyes to the night sky. They did not know what tomorrow would bring, friendship or war, peace or fire, but they knew one truth. Whatever came, humanity would face it the same way they always had. Not with weakness, not with surrender, but with the unshakable strength of a species that had already survived the impossible.